How to create a mental blueprint for success. There is a silent architect behind every life. You've never seen it. You can't touch it. But everything you are today, your success, your failures, your relationships, your fears, your habits, your results, was first built by this invisible force. And that force? Your mind. Not your brain. Not your intellect. But your thinking. Your beliefs. Your emotions. Your decisions. Because your thoughts are not just passing clouds in your mind. They are the foundation of your destiny. Every decision you make starts as a thought. Every action you take is born from a thought. Every dream you chase or abandon begins with an idea. And over time, those ideas become patterns. Those patterns become habits. Those habits become identity. And identity becomes destiny. That's why Napoleon Hill said, "Men do not attract that which they want, but that which they are." You don't get what you wish for. You don't get what you pray for. You get what you think constantly, consistently, and unconsciously. So if you're unhappy with where you are, if you feel stuck in a cycle of failure, if you keep chasing success and never seem to catch it, then you must understand this truth. You are not lacking opportunity. You are not cursed by bad luck. You are not held back by others. You are being shaped, moment by moment, by the thoughts you allow to live inside your mind. Thoughts of fear, thoughts of doubt, thoughts of limitation, thoughts that whisper, "You're not ready. Maybe next year, I'll try when I feel like it." These thoughts don't just pass through. They settle in. They build walls. They create ceilings. They shape your reality. Because your brain doesn't distinguish between real experience and repeated imagination. That means if you spend your days imagining failure, hardship, rejection, your body and behavior will follow. Your actions will match your internal picture. And your results, they'll reflect your dominant thoughts. This is the law of mental creation, and it is absolute. So ask yourself, what kind of structure is being built inside you right now? Is it a palace of power or a prison of paralysis? Because if you don't control your thoughts, someone else will. Society will. Social media will. The news will. Other people's opinions will. And before you know it, your mind becomes a construction zone filled with borrowed beliefs, recycled fears, and secondhand dreams. And nothing great was ever built on secondhand thinking. Greatness starts with ownership. Ownership of your mind. Ownership of your thoughts. Ownership of your destiny. Because once you realize that your thoughts are the blueprint, you also realize something even more powerful. You are the architect. You have the tools. You have the ability to redesign, to rebuild, to tear down the limiting structures and replace them with something stronger, something bolder, something unstoppable. So how do you begin? By understanding the raw materials of thought, by recognizing that every thought has weight, every belief has energy, every idea has consequence. Because thoughts are not just mental events, they are creative forces. They set your direction. They determine your vibration. They attract your environment. They shape your subconscious programming. And your subconscious mind? It is the engine behind everything you do. It runs your habits. It controls your emotions. It influences your decisions. And it operates based on one thing: repetition. The thoughts you repeat most often become the commands your subconscious follows. So if you repeat thoughts of scarcity, you'll act like a person who has nothing. If you repeat thoughts of failure, you'll behave like someone who expects defeat. If you repeat thoughts of limitation, you'll live within invisible borders you never knew you created. But here's the good news. You can change the blueprint. You can rewrite the code. You can reprogram your mind. Not overnight, but through consistent, deliberate, intentional effort. Because thought is a muscle, and like any muscle, it grows stronger with use. Train your mind to think like a winner and you'll start acting like one. Fill your inner world with vision and you'll begin seeing opportunities everywhere. Replace fear with faith and watch your courage grow. Swap doubt for certainty and suddenly action feels natural. Because when you master your thoughts, you master your life. So ask yourself, are my thoughts building me up or holding me back? Am I feeding my mind with fuel for greatness or fertilizer for failure? Because your thoughts are not just shaping your present, they are designing your future. And the truth remains, your thoughts are the blueprint of your destiny. So what are you building? Forever. The first pillar. Clarity. Clarity is the foundation of success. Without it, effort scatters. Without it, discipline fades. Without it, progress stalls. Because clarity gives meaning to struggle, direction to desire, strength to sacrifice. And if you want to rise, if you truly want to break free from where you are, then you must begin here, with clarity. Because most people drift. They move without direction. They chase after vague goals. They let emotion decide their path. And then they wonder why they never arrive. But the ones who rise, they lock onto a destination. They define their mission. They own their purpose. They don't just want success, they see it, feel it, believe it. And because they do, they create it. Think of Henry Ford. He didn't just want to build cars. He saw a world where transportation was accessible to everyone. He had clarity, strong, unshakable clarity. And because he saw it clearly, he pursued it relentlessly. Or look at Walt Disney. He didn't just want to make cartoons. He saw a magical kingdom where children and adults could escape reality. He lived it in his mind long before it existed in the world. And because he believed it deeply, he made it real. That's the power of clarity. It builds belief. Belief fuels action. Action builds momentum. Momentum changes everything. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, do I know exactly what I want? Can I describe my future self in vivid detail? Do I know why I want it? And most importantly, am I willing to pay the price to get it? Because again, clarity is not just knowing what you want. Clarity is knowing why you want it and what it costs. And only those who understand the cost are ready to claim the reward. So ask yourself, am I feeding clarity or confusion? Am I designing a clear path or reinforcing scattered thinking? Because clarity cuts through the fog. It forces you to define your vision, to name your purpose, to set your standards, to know exactly what you're building and why. Because without clarity, belief wanders. It chases after distractions. It loses focus. It burns out before it ever has a chance to build momentum. So what are you building? Are you constructing excuses? Or are you building empires? Are you reinforcing weakness? Or are you building freedom? Because the truth remains, your thoughts are the blueprint of your destiny. And clarity is the first stone. So lay it now. Lay it boldly. Lay it with precision. Because once you do, the rest begins to fall into place. Because again, your mind is the engine of your reality. And once you give it direction, it starts pulling you toward it, no matter what stands in the way. The second pillar, Belief is not passive. It is not a feeling. It is not a slogan on the wall. Belief is power. It is the silent command center behind every decision, every action, every result. And if you want to change your life, you must start by changing what you believe. Because belief follows attention. What you give energy to expands. What you ignore dies. So feed belief. Starve doubt. Let your mind become a fortress impenetrable to weakness, immune to fear, resistant to failure. Because belief is cumulative. Each time you choose to move forward in the face of uncertainty, you prove to yourself that you are capable. Each time you act despite the noise in your head, you strengthen your belief. Each time you persist through resistance, you expand the boundaries of what you think is possible. And that expansion changes everything. Because belief is not static. It either grows or it shrinks. There is no middle ground. If you don't feed it, doubt will. If you don't challenge it, fear will take over. If you don't act on it, it fades into nothing. So ask yourself, what do I really believe about myself? Do I believe I can, or do I secretly expect to fail? Because whatever belief lives inside you now, that's what you're becoming. And the truth remains, you become what you believe, no exceptions. So how do you build unshakable belief? By feeding it proof, by showing up, by doing the work no one sees, by proving to yourself again and again that you are capable. Because belief grows through doing. Clarity sharpens through movement. Purpose reveals itself through effort. So stop waiting. Stop hesitating. Stop doubting. Start now. Right now. This moment. No matter how small, no matter how imperfect. Because the first step is always ugly. The second is better. By the third, you're already moving. And movement creates momentum. Momentum creates progress. Progress creates confidence. Confidence strengthens belief. And belief makes you unstoppable. Because again, your thoughts are the blueprint of your destiny. And belief is the steel beam that holds it together. So what are you believing today? You were not born to live small. You are not placed on this earth to drift. You were created with purpose, with mission, with power that most people never even begin to tap into. But here's the truth. Most people waste their days, and with it, their lives. They give in to distraction. They surrender to fatigue. They let emotion rule their direction. And then they wonder why they never rise. Because greatness doesn't come from talent, from luck, from privilege. Greatness comes from the mind, the one that sees, feels, owns, builds, wins. Because again, your thoughts are the blueprint of your destiny. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, what kind of person do I need to become to build the life I truly want? Because again, you become what you believe, no exceptions. And the first step? Choosing belief every day, without hesitation, forever. Because again, your thoughts are the blueprint of your destiny. Forever. The third pillar, vision. There is a force inside every great achiever. It's not luck, not privilege, not even talent. It's vision. A clear, unshakable picture of what they want to create. And if you lack that vision, then no amount of effort will take you where you want to go. Because if you can't see it, you'll never be it. You cannot achieve what you cannot imagine. You cannot become what you cannot visualize. You cannot reach what you cannot clearly define. Vision is not daydreaming. It is not fantasy. It is not wishful thinking. Vision is the first step in creation. Before there was flight, there was the vision of flying. Before there was electricity, there was the dream of light in darkness. Before there was space travel, there was the vision of reaching the stars. And if you want to rise, you must begin there too, in your mind. Because the world does not reward vague desires. It rewards clarity, certainty, conviction. Those who see what others only hope for. Think of Elon Musk. When he announced his plan to send humans to Mars, most people laughed. But he didn't care. He already saw it. He had already built it in his mind. He could already feel it. And because he could see it, he started building it. That's how vision works. It doesn't wait for permission. It doesn't ask for approval. It simply begins. Because once you can see your future with absolute clarity, your body follows. Your actions align. Your habits change. Your environment shifts. Everything in your life starts moving toward that vision like metal drawn to a magnet. This is the power of visualization, and it is one of the most underused tools in personal development because most people try to build their lives without ever truly seeing them. They set goals, they make plans, they talk about dreams, but they never fully see what they're trying to create, and so they never fully commit. They hesitate. They doubt. They give up when things get hard because they never gave themselves a reason strong enough to keep going. But vision gives that reason. It gives purpose. It gives direction. It gives fuel. Because vision is not optional. It is essential. So ask yourself, do I truly see my future? Can I describe it in vivid detail? Can I feel it in my bones? Or am I just hoping for something better without knowing exactly what that better looks like? Because if you can't answer that question with clarity, then you're not ready to become it. But once you do, once you bring your future into focus, you are no longer dreaming. You are becoming. And that changes everything. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, what do I truly want? What am I willing to sacrifice for it? What steps must I take starting today to move closer to that vision? Because once you answer those questions with clarity, you are no longer drifting. You are leading yourself, guiding your own path, building your own destiny. Because again, if you can't see it, you'll never be it. And once you see it, you have already begun creating it. The fourth pillar, discipline. Discipline is the bridge between thought and result, between desire and achievement, between vision and victory. And if you want to rise, if you truly want to break free from where you are, then you must stop waiting. You must start doing, because discipline is not punishment. It is protection. It protects your future from the laziness of today. It guards your potential from the pull of comfort. Discipline is the daily choice to become more than you were yesterday. It is not easy. It is not popular. It is not comfortable. But it is the single greatest separator between those who achieve greatness and those who merely dream about it. Because discipline is not about willpower. It's about structure. It's about environment. It's about design. Design your life so that success is the path of least resistance. Make it easier to win than to fail. Because discipline is not about forcing yourself to do hard things. It's about making the right things automatic. And when discipline becomes habit, belief becomes identity. And when belief becomes identity, greatness becomes inevitable. So how do you begin mastering discipline? by making it non-negotiable, by setting boundaries, by eliminating distractions, by surrounding yourself with people who push you higher, by creating systems that support your goals, not sabotage them. Because discipline is not just about working hard. It is about working smart, about designing your life so that greatness becomes your default, not your exception. Look at Andrew Carnegie. He didn't wake up one day and become the richest man in the world. He built an empire through relentless execution, through daily habits, through systems, through repetition. Because he understood the law of motion. Action builds momentum. Momentum builds confidence. Confidence builds belief. Belief builds success. Or look at Thomas Edison. He didn't invent the light bulb by accident. He built it through failure after failure, after failure, over 1,000 times. But he didn't see failure. He saw progress. He saw proof. He saw steps toward success. Because he had discipline, real discipline, the kind that shows up even when the world says no. So ask yourself, am I feeding belief or reinforcing weakness? Am I designing my life or letting fear decide? Because again, discipline builds belief. Belief builds action. Action builds results. Results build legacy. So what are you building today? Are you reinforcing limits or expanding your potential? Because again, your thoughts are the blueprint of your destiny. And discipline is the steel beam that makes it stand. The fifth pillar, action is the language of belief. And belief without action is illusion. Action without vision is wasted energy. Because the strongest minds don't just think, they act. They move. They execute. They show up even when they don't feel like it. Especially when they don't feel like it. Because action proves commitment. It silences doubt. It fuels growth. And it reshapes identity. So ask yourself, do I speak the language of belief or the dialect of hesitation? Because the moment you act, belief strengthens. The moment you move, direction sharpens. The moment you choose clarity, expands. Because action reveals what thought hides. It exposes weakness. It highlights strength. It shows you what you're truly made of. And only through action do you discover what you're capable of. Look at J.K. Rowling. She didn't write Harry Potter in one night. She wrote it while living on welfare, while raising a child alone, while being rejected over and over. But she kept writing because she believed, and because she acted, her story changed the literary world forever. Or look at Elon Musk. When SpaceX failed its first 3 launches, he didn't quit. He doubled down. He believed harder. He worked longer. He pushed past every obstacle because he had already seen the future in his mind. He had already built the vision. Now he was just executing it. That's how legends are made. Not by waiting, not by wishing, not by dreaming, by acting. Consistently, relentlessly, unapologetically. Because again, your mind is the engine of your reality. And the only way to shift that engine into motion is to take action. Every day. Even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it. Because action is proof. Proof that you believe. Proof that you're serious. Proof that you won't quit. And once you start proving that to yourself, nothing can stop you. So ask yourself, am I taking massive action or am I waiting for motivation? Am I chasing inspiration or am I creating momentum? Because again, motivation follows movement. Momentum builds confidence. Confidence strengthens belief. Belief fuels success. So what will you do now? Will you keep waiting? Or will you finally act? Because again, your thoughts are the blueprint of your destiny. And action is the hammer that starts building it. The sixth pillar, resilience. You cannot become great without resilience. You cannot build a life worth living without persistence. You cannot break through ceilings without enduring pressure. Because greatness is not given. It is earned through pain, through struggle, through repeated effort long after most people have quit. So ask yourself, am I building resilience or am I avoiding discomfort? Am I strengthening my mindset or am I softening it with comfort? Because if you want to rise, you must embrace struggle as growth, pain as progress, failure as feedback. Because again, resilience is not built in moments. It is built in repetition, in tiny decisions made every day, in showing up even when you want to quit. Think of Nelson Mandela, imprisoned for 27 years. Yet he never lost belief in justice, never lost belief in freedom, never lost belief in the power of perseverance. And when he walked out of that cell, he didn't just walk into freedom, he walked into destiny. Because belief doesn't die in prison. It grows stronger. Or look at Oprah Winfrey, born into poverty, abused as a child, fired from her first job, told she wasn't fit for television. Yet she believed in something greater. She believed in the power of story, in the strength of voice, in the idea that one person could change millions by simply refusing to stay silent. And now, millions have found their voice because she found hers. That's the ripple effect of belief, of vision, of action, of resilience. Because again, your mind is the engine of your reality. And resilience is the oil that keeps it running even under pressure. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, am I training my mind or am I reinforcing weakness? Because the ones who rise, they don't run from struggle. They run toward it. They don't avoid pain. They use it. They don't fear setbacks. They expect them. They don't retreat. They rebuild. They don't play small, they expand. Because again, greatness doesn't knock politely. It demands everything. And only those who refuse to quit ever receive it. So what are you choosing now? Will you continue reinforcing weakness, or will you finally feed strength? Will you keep living by fear, or will you lead with belief? Because again, your thoughts are the blueprint of your destiny. And resilience is the final wall you must break through to claim it. Forever, you were not born to live small. You are not placed on this earth to drift. You were created with purpose, with mission, with power that most people never even begin to tap into. But here's the truth. Most people imagine their dreams, but never build them. They see success, but never feel it. They talk about freedom, but never claim it. And then they wonder why nothing changes. Because again, your mind is the engine of your reality. It builds what you feed it, what you repeat, what you believe. So ask yourself, am I designing my life, or am I reinforcing weakness? Am I feeding belief or fear? Because if you want to rise, if you truly want to break free from where you are, then you must stop drifting and start defining. Because greatness doesn't knock politely. It demands ownership, clarity, vision, discipline, action, resilience. And once you give it those, you become unstoppable. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, What kind of person do I need to become to build the life I truly want? Because again, you become what you believe, no exceptions. And the path begins now, today, this moment. Because again, your thoughts are the blueprint of your destiny. Forever. The seventh pillar, adaptability. Greatness does not follow a straight line. It twists, it turns, it breaks, it bends. It forces you to pivot, to change, to evolve. And only those who learn to ride the wave of change will ever reach victory. Because greatness isn't built in comfort. It's forged in resistance, in uncertainty, in adversity. So ask yourself, am I resisting change or am I using it to rise? Am I chasing outdated strategies or am I learning new ones? Because if you want to rise, you must evolve. You must grow. You must learn. You must change. Because again, adaptability is the secret weapon of the great. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, what am I willing to let go of to become more than I am? Because growth requires release. Progress demands evolution. And greatness always comes with transformation. So what are you ready to change? Are you willing to let go of old habits to build better ones? Are you ready to shift your thinking to unlock higher levels of success? Because again, your mind is the engine of your reality. And adaptability is the fuel that keeps it moving even when the road gets rough. Think of Henry Ford. He didn't build the Model T overnight. He adapted. He evolved. He listened to the market. He learned from failure. He changed his approach and changed the world. Or look at Elon Musk. When SpaceX failed its first 3 launches, he didn't quit. He doubled down. He believed harder. He worked longer. He pushed past every obstacle because he had already seen the future. And because he was willing to adapt, he made it real. That's elite thinking. That's 1% thinking. And it starts with discipline. Because again, discipline builds belief. Belief builds action. Action builds results. Results build resilience. So what will you choose today? Will you keep reinforcing weakness, or will you finally feed strength? Will you resist change, or will you lead it? Because again, your thoughts are the blueprint of your destiny. And adaptability is the force that makes them real even when conditions shift. The 8th pillar, gratitude. There is a silent war fought inside every human being. Not with weapons, not with armies, but with mindset. And the winner of that war is the one who chooses gratitude over complaint. Who sees opportunity in pain? Who finds value in struggle? Because gratitude is not just emotion. It is energy. It is vibration. It is frequency. And it pulls abundance toward you like gravity. So ask yourself, am I feeding scarcity or am I radiating gratitude? Am I building walls with complaint or bridges with appreciation? Because again, gratitude shapes perception. Perception shapes reality. Reality shapes destiny. And only those who master gratitude can ever master their lives. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, what am I grateful for, even in the middle of struggle? Because gratitude doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It creates them. It shifts your focus. It rewires your thinking. It expands your vision. And suddenly the life you thought was broken becomes the foundation of something greater. That's how legends rebuild. Not by waiting for perfect moments, not by chasing easy paths, but by choosing gratitude in the fire. Because again, your mind is the engine of your reality, and gratitude is the spark that ignites it. The ninth pillar. Learning. Most people think success comes from talent, from luck, from timing. But the truth? Success begins in the mind, before it ever appears in the world. And if you want to rise, if you truly want to break free from where you are, then you must start here, with learning. Because knowledge builds strategy, wisdom builds direction, growth builds momentum, and only those who commit to lifelong learning will ever break through ceilings. Because stagnation kills progress, complacency kills potential, and refusing to learn kills legacy. So ask yourself, am I growing or am I going through the motions? Am I expanding or am I shrinking? Because again, thoughts create reality. Belief builds behavior. Mindset determines destiny. So what are you learning today? Are you feeding weakness or are you building strength? Are you consuming distraction or are you absorbing wisdom? Because again, your thoughts are the blueprint of your destiny. And learning sharpens the pencil. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, what am I reading? What am I studying? What am I mastering? Because again, the strongest minds are not born. They are built one lesson at a time. And only those who refuse to stop learning will ever stop failing. Because again, your mind is the engine of your reality, and learning fuels it forever. The final truth: you are what you repeat. Your identity is not defined by what you say, not by what you dream, not by what you wish for. It is defined by what you repeat, what you allow, what you give energy to. Because repetition builds character. Daily choices build habit. Habit builds identity. And identity determines destiny. Look at Thomas Edison. He didn't invent the light bulb through luck. He built it through failure after failure, after failure, over 1,000 times. But he didn't see failure. He saw progress. He saw proof. He saw steps toward success. Or look at Walt Disney, rejected over 300 times before anyone would fund his dream, told he had no imagination. Yet he kept going, because he already saw the magic in his mind. He already felt the joy of children running through the gates. He already lived the success in his thoughts. And because he believed, he created it. That's how greatness works. It builds reality one thought, one action, one decision at a time. So ask yourself, am I repeating weakness or strength? Am I reinforcing fear or faith? Because again, you become what you believe, no exceptions. And the only way to become great is to choose it every day, without hesitation, without delay, without giving in, forever. Because again, your thoughts are the blueprint of your destiny. And repetition is the architect. How the greats win. They act without permission. Greatness doesn't care about your mood. It doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It responds to action, to execution, to consistency. Because greatness is not given, it is taken. By those who dare, by those who do, by those who refuse to quit even when the world says no. So ask yourself, am I waiting for permission or am I taking control? Am I chasing dreams or am I building them? Because again, discipline beats motivation every single time. Motivation follows movement. Discipline pulls you forward. So here's how to build unstoppable discipline even if you've never had it before. 1. Wake up with intention. Don't let your alarm own you. Don't let your phone run your mind. Instead, take back control. Wake up with purpose. Set your mission before the world sets it for you. Because again, win the morning, win the day, win the life. 2. Move your body daily. Most people wake up tired. They hit snooze. They stretch. They yawn. They sit. They scroll. They sink. But warriors? They rise. They move. They train. They sweat. They fight fatigue with force. Because physical movement fuels mental clarity. Because discipline is earned, not inherited. So make movement non-negotiable. Make it sacred. Make it daily. Because again, discipline builds belief. Belief builds action. Action builds success. 3. Feed your mind before you feed your mouth. Most people start their day with junk food, scrolling through chaos, consuming distraction, feeding fear, reinforcing doubt. But the ones who rise, they feed their minds first. They read, they listen, they learn, they grow. Because again, thoughts create reality. So start with powerful thinking. Start with vision. Start with strategy. Because again, your thoughts are the blueprint of your destiny. 4. Visualize victory. Daily greatness doesn't come out of nowhere. It is imagined, built in the mind, lived emotionally before it appears in reality. So close your eyes, see your highest self, feel the life you're working toward, breathe in the future you're building. Because again, if you can't see it, you'll never be it. So visualize, write it down, speak it aloud, own it. Because again, your thoughts are the blueprint of your destiny. 5. Write down your mission. Clarity is the first domino in the chain reaction of success. So write, journal, define your mission, set your intention. Because again, clarity gives strength to struggle. Direction gives fuel to effort. Purpose gives reason to rise again after falling. So ask yourself, what is my mission today? What one thing must I accomplish to call this day a win? Because again, definiteness of purpose changes everything. The hidden law behind every winner: ownership decides everything. You cannot rise without ownership. You cannot grow without responsibility. You cannot succeed without accountability. Because greatness doesn't respond to excuses. It responds to execution, to personal power, to unbreakable commitment. So ask yourself, do I take full ownership of my life, or do I give it away? Because again, you become what you believe, no exceptions. And the moment you take full ownership is the moment your life begins changing. Because ownership is the final frontier of personal power. Once you claim it, there is no turning back. Ownership means taking full control of your thoughts, owning your emotions, leading your own path, building your own destiny. No waiting, no blaming, no complaining, only doing, only proving, only rising. Because again, your mind is the engine of your reality, and only you decide what it runs on. Fear or faith? Doubt or certainty? Excuses or execution? Because again, ownership changes everything. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, and declare it: I am the architect. I design my life. I command my future. I build my destiny. I lead myself. I feed belief. I act with purpose. I own my mind, my mission, my vision, my discipline. Because again, your thoughts are the blueprint of your destiny. And ownership is the final wall between you and greatness. Break through it and nothing can stop you. The final challenge: Will you commit, or will you keep excusing? Here's the final truth. You cannot outperform your mindset. You cannot outgrow your habits. You cannot outrun your environment. You cannot outlast your excuses. Because greatness is not built through effort alone. It is built through ownership, through clarity, through belief, through vision, through discipline. Because again, discipline builds belief. Belief builds action. Action builds results. Results build greatness. So ask yourself, am I committed or am I just pretending? Do I truly want more or am I comfortable staying exactly where I am? Because if you want to rise, you must make a choice. A final, unbreakable decision. To no longer wait. To no longer hesitate. To no longer rely on motivation. To no longer play small. Because again, discipline is the real power. And once you claim it, nothing can stop you. So what will you do now? Will you keep waiting? Or will you finally act? Because again, your thoughts are the blueprint of your destiny. And the moment you start building it, you start becoming it. Forever. Final call to action. Don't just watch, become. This was not just a video. It was a command, a challenge, a wake-up call. Because if you want to rise, you must stop thinking like everyone else. You must start thinking like the 1%, like the leaders, like the legends, like the ones who don't wait, who act, who don't fear, who fight, who don't hesitate, who conquer. So if this hit deep, if it made you feel something real, hit that subscribe button right now. And turn on notifications so you never miss another moment that could change your life. Because this isn't just content. This is transformation. And if you're serious about becoming more than you are, then you belong here. Now go make it happen. Because again, your thoughts are the blueprint of your destiny. And the moment you start building it, you start becoming it. Forever.